Sup, y'all? I am your host, Tayler Onion, and this is Hang Time, where we focus on amplifying the stories of women in sports. We are back this week with the Missouri Valley Conference's Director of Community Relations, Kendee Hilliard. Kendee, welcome. Let's get some hang time.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you here. I just mentioned your current role. We actually know each other. I've known your name for a long time. I feel like you've been in my sphere, but you spoke in one of my classes earlier this spring at UMSL in my sport management program. And so that's really how we got officially connected.
Absolutely.
And I mentioned your role briefly, but your career in sports started way before you got to the Missouri Valley and before you got to St. Louis. So I would love to start there. How did you get interested in working in sports to begin with?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a long journey, but it kind of started when I was in middle school or high school. I always knew I wanted to work in sports in some capacity. At first, it was more like the sports psychology realm because I was just passionate about how student athletes and how professional athletes could just better their mindset to make them better athletes and better at their crafts. But then when I got into the nuts and bolts of like, how does a game operate? How does a championship maneuver, or just kind of like the ins and outs of an athletic director's role at the high school level, I was like kind of hooked. So I began to do internships with our high school athletic director, and then it kind of just sparked a true passion that led to me becoming a student athlete at Illinois State, which we'll probably get into later. And I smile because I remember kind of those opportunities where you saw representation of someone who looked like you, whether that was someone who was a woman or someone who was a Black. So it just allowed me to see something I never even thought I could be. So it transformed from an SWA to an AD to a commissioner to working in the NBA, the WNBA. Kind of the world is your oyster at this point. So yeah.
We were talking about that a little bit this morning on another interview that I did, where this importance of representation, the importance of visibility, like as kids and growing up, we're aware of our parents and maybe the other people who are, in our family or in your kind of sphere that's immediate there, but we don't necessarily think beyond that. So I think that's why we see, if your parents are doctors, you become a doctor. If your parents are professors, you become a professor. Farmers, all the things.
Yes.
But with sports specifically, if you don't see anything outside of your coaches, you don't see the athletic director in high school, or if you don't see the athletic director in college or whatever it may be, it's not even in your brain at all.
It's not on your radar at all.
Yeah, to think that, this could maybe be a career that I would pursue.
1,000%.
Yeah. So you enjoyed your student athlete experience at Illinois State.
I did. If you were to talk to any of my teammates, they would probably say I had it all figured out of wanting to work in college athletics from the moment I stepped on campus. I actually was an early enrollee, so I graduated high school a semester early and was able to go experience spring training for the volleyball side of things. So that includes...
That's a rough landing.
Yeah,
as a former volleyball student athlete myself, people who did that, I was always a little bit like, oh, I don't know if you want to come in the spring.
Yeah, and I would actually add more fuel to that fire because I came from Texas, went to Illinois, and it happened to be the record-breaking snow that year, and then there was this thing called a polar vortex where they were like, if you go outside, your skin will instantly freeze. I'm like, oh my God, Mom. What did I do? Yeah. So I enjoyed my my student athlete experience. We were able to win MVC conference championships back to back years.
Amazing.
Which was pretty cool. Got a few wins over your alma mater.
Yeah, we don't need to talk
two
about
of the
that.
3 years I played in it. So and they were ranked. Just add that. But
I didn't know we might have to end the interview here. I didn't know you were going to bring that kind of smoke to this.
There's no smoke. I thought it was a rivalry. I don't know if I'm feeling that. All love though. But then I was able to do a few more internships in the compliance department and student athlete experience, development and fundraising. So I really just got to touch on a lot of different areas in the college sports department, and just learned all the different aspects and nuances that college departments go through. And then luckily I was able to, in my senior year, deal with the NIL or the start of NIL. So it made it even more fun at that point.
A new added element in there.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done it without the people who supported me along the way, especially one named Leanna Bordner, who's been my mentor since the moment I stepped on campus, who people would argue like they fell in love with the coach or fell in love with the arena or the community of Bloomington Normal, which I did all those things. But Leanna Bordner was the reason I chose Illinois State. She was the SWA at the time, and like I mentioned earlier, I never knew what SWA was. And for the audience, it's a senior woman administrator. So it just allowed me to see someone who I could be. And more embarrassing when she asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said you. So like all the things, all the kid-like things, but I'm proud that she's still in my corner and she's always there when I need her.
Yeah, I love that. Again, the representation, having somebody within the athletic department that you can look to as a mentor, but also as a kind of a North Star for your career, I think Absolutely. Is amazing.
Yeah.
So you had a ton of experiences by the time that you graduated ISU. You dabbled in almost every department, it sounds like, from the time that you were there. And then you went on to the NCAA, where you were a postgraduate intern. You were in D2 governance, specifically. The NCAA postgraduate internship, for anybody who's listening and is not aware, that program, I was never a part of it, but just by proxy and from friends who have gone through it, and even from the folks in leadership development at the national office now who are leading that, it's an unbelievable professional development program. How was the experience for you?
Wow. When I tell you it was one of the most life-changing decisions I've ever made in my life, it just allowed me to develop myself and figure out a little bit more of what I wanted to do. Because I had worked in so many different departments, I just didn't necessarily have one or two like aspects or sectors that I wanted to go into. But then kind of the NCAA just broadened my horizons, because not only are you looking at it similar to an NBA, WNBA, or just another league, but you're also seeing how the governance structure works. And like when you're a student athlete, or when you're just not in that day to day, you kind of look at the NCAA in a different way, which I will admit I was one of those people where it's always like blaming the NCAA. But when you really got into the governance structure, where you're in those committees, where it's a makeup of not only just SWA's presidents, student athletes, but it's like a community making a decision. It's not just Joe and Sue at the NCAA making the decision, but they're bringing kind of what I do at the conference. They're bringing information to their membership to decide a few things. So I think that's where, if I would clear up anything regarding the NCAA or just being at the conference, it's oftentimes like the membership that is making those decisions. It's not just people who work in those specific organizations.
Yeah, there are so many good people at the national office that are doing such good and impactful work for student athletes. And without it, I what does people say? Like, oh, I shudder to think about what it would look like without that, right? But it's true. The structure that's in place, again, the programs that are in place, the kind of added benefits of being a student athlete, the leadership development office specifically. And just, again, there's a lot of good folks at the national office that are doing some really great work.
Yeah, and I was even able not just to do the governance part, but I was kind of one of the people, or part of a team that was like kind of Division II's SID, or sports information director. So running the Instagram page, running the Twitter page, running Facebook of what do the brackets look like for the national championship, who has access. And when it comes to kind of my thought process of what the divisions look like, normally we saw it as D1, D2, D3, but then when I was able to really immerse myself into the experience, it was more of like a sideways thing of like 1, 2, and 3, because they're all wonderful options. It really just depends on the student athlete and what they're trying to get out of their experience. Because D2, you're allowed more opportunity to win a national championship rather than sometimes being a mid-major or being a lower mid-major to win a national championship at the D1 level. But I did all the things, newsletters, social media pushes, TikToks, all the things.
Right.
So it just it allowed me to get the experience of a marketing brand, of the Make It Yours brand. And also, I think it was the 50th anniversary of Division II and Division III that year.
You were telling me that.
Exciting times.
Yeah,
when I was there.
Super exciting times. When I read governance on your LinkedIn, and even as we were talking about it, I'm like, okay, so she had a compliance experience, so this makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're thinking it's probably all rules and structure and whatever. But that wasn't, like, you're in that space, but you're doing so many other things that sounds like they've kind of lent themselves to the rest of your career. Yeah,
and I actually think now at the NCAA, they've combined it kind of like combined the compliance background and the governance, because you work so closely in tandem with each other that it kind of makes sense. But I don't know, hot topic, I guess.
Yeah, and there's so many different, again, there's compliance, there's governance, there's marketing, there's even the academic side and academic policy and legislation. There's so many different things.
And just resources.
Yes.
People just have different resources, because you could be a powerhouse D2 and do much better than a D1 or a D3. Like, it just, that's why now I have a more of a wider lens of looking at it from across the board rather than up to down.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Probably some similarities. So I was going to say the Missouri Valley Conference, which is headquartered here in St. Louis, which is also very exciting. I didn't know that until maybe the last 5-6 years. I became aware that that's where it was.
Yeah.
Because there are no Missouri schools.
No, not
in
anymore.
The Missouri Valley Conference. Okay. This was
anymore.
The same. So the last school I was at, Western Illinois University, in the Ohio Valley Conference, there are no Ohio schools in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Happens.
It does. Yeah. You just never know. But you got there in 2024.
Yep.
What have you enjoyed most about that role so far?
Yeah. So Commissioner Jeff Jackson is just a great leader, and he really pours into people who work with him, work under him. And he just always allowed me opportunities to say yes or be voluntold for things and just push me to really be better in the field and as an administrator. So kind of anything that he thought of or worked with the senior staff to kind of fix a problem or just anything, I was kind of the first person who was like, yes, I'll do it. Might as well. So I kind of kept in contact with him after my NCAA or during my NCAA internship, and it just was kind of a match made in heaven. So it feels like bigger and broader and like more passionate for me because I played for this conference. I understand the rivalries of the Illinois State Bradley, the UNI and Drake, and like all of those nuances. And what people don't know is that we're the second oldest conference in Division I,
really?
Aside from Big Ten, I believe. So 1907, it kind of runs deep in your veins.
Yeah.
Well, the Valley runs deep, so
that's right.
All the things.
It's a good plug.
Yeah. Hey.
That's right. You shared, so we connected to a few weeks ago at Hang Time's first in-person event that we had, and you kind of mentioned, hey, keep your eyes on the calendar, on the news front. We've got a decent announcement coming up. That announcement has since been made.
Yes.
So the Missouri Valley Conference announced that both the men's and women's Arch Madness tournaments, or now they're both going to be under that umbrella. They're both going to be in St. Louis.
Yes.
It's been only the men's at Arch Madness for I don't know how long. And then the women have played in other places. I think they were in Iowa.
Yep.
Is that right? Earlier this year?
Yep.
So can you share anything? I mean, it's exciting decision first and foremost, but
very exciting.
What can you share about maybe what led to that? What are you most excited about for 2027? What does that look like?
So I'm going to take it in terms of kind of how it led to that decision. Our board tracks on all the great things that come a part of our membership and that can make our brand and the membership better. And actually, I believe the women played in St. Charles a few years ago.
Okay.
But we really wanted to see kind of what the buy-in was for women's basketball. So before I got there, or the year I started, we were in a 3-year rotation to where we were in Evansville for the first year. Then we moved to Coralville last year, or this year. And then we were planning to go back to Moline, where it had been for the last few years. after St. Charles, but they've always pretty much had a neutral site, which is what we wanted to keep going.
Sure.
And when you have the opportunity to bring all your fan base to one city, it just allows for a different movement and different excitement. Because from my lens of what I'm excited about is the community engagement portion. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have the school day that I'm in charge of, where we can bring just screaming kids who are in elementary, middle school, or high school, but also like, how can we reach out to those after school programs they've probably never seen a tournament in this magnitude. So those are kind of the trends we were tracking on, but I'm really excited. And the Arch Madness brand is also large as well, because if I remember correctly, aside from the Big East, we're the longest tournament at one site for 35 years.
Amazing.
So it's
also
just
like the branding is one of the most, if not the most clever in all of college basketball. Arch Madness in St. Louis.
It's there. It's there.
It totally is.
And so I really want fans and everyone to feel excited that we're bringing the women. Yes, we're all under one roof. But also we just had the ability to just create some more synergy. But no, I'm excited because there are 18 games. There's a ton of games to be played.
Okay.
We are doing 10 out of 11 teams for each tournament.
Okay.
But the way it's going to be set up is women is on Wednesday, men is on Thursday, and then we start combining for the rest of the time.
Okay.
But people don't often realize the nuances that go into it. So ticket prices, which people understand, but like the television side of things, because I believe on Saturday we have to split up the women because of CBS.
Okay.
So it just a few nuances that we were trying to navigate through, but I do think in the long run it's going to be good because spring breaks operate on different weeks just for fans, but also just, I don't know. Selfishly, I only have to plan for like 4 or 5 outfits.
Yeah, I was gonna
rather
say.
than 8.
Yeah, well, and even just from workload, getting employees and staff and volunteers and all the people there.
Yeah.
To say, hey, this is going to be a really crazy 5-day stretch, but then after that, we're good. Whereas
exactly.
I think there's other obviously conferences, and even with what y'all were doing before, was the women's tournament after?
It was.
So the men's was the first weekend of March, women's was the second weekend of March, and now you'll just combine everything.
But then people also don't realize from the conference perspective that like a lot of us are out of town already. So leading up to Arch Madness, we had swim and dive championships that combined this year, and that was in Evansville. Okay. Then I was in Indy for track and field, and I think we moved in the next day I came back from track and field. So it just allows us to at least get back into kind of the groove of things and really focus in on one championship rather than scattering a few people. But I think overall, to keep it more fan focused, you just have the ability to watch more basketball, and you're not splitting up fan bases, and then you're just able to watch or able to see men's fans become women's fans become men's fans. So yeah,
I'm excited. It's going to be cool. We UMSL Sport Management Program has volunteered with Arch Madness it predates me for several years now, and so I had my first glimpse of that earlier this year, which was fun to see and be a part of. And I know our students get a lot out of it. Sport management students love, which is the same for people who work in sports, they love to collect credentials.
Oh, absolutely.
So Arch Madness is always a big one that you get your credential and, you get to hang it on your board at the end of the day.
I have my wall.
Yeah, everybody. I love it. So I want to switch gears a little bit before we move kind of into some outside of sports stuff. But at one point, you were doing some co-hosting on the 1Q Leadership podcast, which focuses on leadership specifically in college athletics. How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, you do your research.
That's
right. So funny thing, Ty Brown, who's the head host, he's a family friend of mine.
Okay.
And I kind of knew I wanted to work in college sports, so I told him about my passion. And right around the time NIL came into fruition, that was my first NIL deal.
Okay.
And I was actually, slight flex, one of the first student athletes at Illinois State to have an NIL deal.
Nice.
So fun. But I knew that I wanted to interview different people from SAC related, which is student athlete. Lost my acronym.
Student Athlete Advisory Council.
Thank you, because
Committee?
they changed it.
Yeah.
That's why I stumbled on it, because I think it's Student Athlete or Advocacy Council
really?
now, and I think they just made that change.
Okay.
So
I'm going to have to go and look at that. I didn't even realize.
Yeah. So where was I? Anyway, so when it came to interviewing college execs, of just kind of getting more touch points with different people and how they kind of made it up to the chair. So I was interviewing ADs, interviewing SWAs. So it just kind of became that. But I'm a podcast junkie. Like, I love podcasts. Kiki Palmer's or Sidell Curry and Cameron Brink's podcasts. They're all in rotation. And Sue Bird and Megan when it was,
R.I.P. to a touch more. Yeah.
Rip. And now Hang Time's coming into the fold as well. So big podcast girly.
Love
and
it.
I'm grateful for Ty and that opportunity he gave me. And it just really kind of set my career up to where it is now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I met Ty, gosh, I don't know how many years ago it's been, but through Will Baggett.
Yes.
Because they used to do some of that stuff too. They wrote a book together, but then it seems like they had some crossover with 1Q as well. So
he's a family friend as well.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Love Bag.
Love to hear it. All right, so I mentioned outside of sports, you've got some stuff that I want to talk about, and so part of amplifying the stories of women in sports is also sharing some things that people might not know outside of your career, right? So I tried and failed to get you to bring some wine today, but
I couldn't do it.
You mentioned you're representing the conference, which I understand. But tell me, is it a level 1 sommelier?
Level 1. Well, not exactly. So there's a few different routes. I'm not the official certified sommelier, but it is another vein called WSET. I call it WSET. That could be totally wrong, but level 1 is correct.
Okay.
So I guess it was this past summer, to where I really just wanted to learn the study of wine and really just make myself look a little bit more efficient and official. So that's kind of how that got started in terms of the certification.
Yeah. So are you, with this certification, like, are you someone who can taste wine and be like, pepper, or like, this is from the dirt of X country?
Not as much as I would like. I'm a bit out of practice because I'm just a lover of wine. Like, I don't discriminate from reds to whites to sparklings, but sometimes when I was really deep in my bag, as I would say, I could decipher, could tell the change between a Riesling and a Chardonnay or different wines. And I could kind of look at it and like, oh, that's a cab. But not as much as I used to. But now I'm just more of doing Ken Sport Decisions, KPDs, on my Instagram stories. But connecting regular food pairings to wine. So I'm not just talking, yes, we all know a steak and a cab. Like, no. What do you want to eat with your pepperoni pizza? What do you want to eat with French fries?
All right.
And those, like, regular people food. Okay. Not the bougie stuff.
What are your recommendations for pepperoni pizza and for French fries?
I can't disclose all my secrets. You got to follow me. You got to follow me.
That's fair. Go follow. Is that a separate Instagram from yours?
No.
Okay, it's on your Instagram.
So with my Instagram, you get all the things of all of me. Things. You get my family, you get my friends, you get what I do in sports. So you could get a merchandising just pop up out of nowhere. I do a lot. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Tell me, I'm going to go rapid fire here.
Yeah.
And you said you don't discriminate on wines, but preference, red, white, or sparkling?
White. I can do any white.
Okay.
I'm dabbling into the reds. My palate's not as advanced as I would like it to be.
If you had a favorite white, which one would it be?
Riesling.
Okay, interesting. Favorite wine region?
Germany.
Okay. Have you visited?
No, I want to.
So hope to visit. That was the next question there.
Yes.
And then what is what is one wine that everyone should try at least once?
A Riesling.
Okay.
It's kind of, you can mix and match to your feel, like, because some of them are dry, some of them are sweet, some of them are semi-sweet. So you really kind of get different walks of life from all over the region or all over the world. But it's funny because how I started on wine was I watched a movie. I think it's called Uncorked. It's on Netflix. And he wanted to become a sommelier. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But then I'm a scandal girly. So seeing Olivia Pope with a glass of wine and popcorn,
full pour,
match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So
it's handled.
Literally. So then when I turned 21 or 22, one of those, I gifted myself a wine subscription where I would get 4 bottles a month.
Nice.
And it would be from different regions of the country, South Africa, Germany, which is why I love Germany wines, but Napa and all the things. But I really just fell in love with it, of like why this grape matches with this and why it becomes this, and like the whole process. Very similar to sports, if you ask me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In terms of being able to find nuances in different spaces, or how would you say?
Well, you know how you have certain teams that you root for. You have your team, and your team only is similar to wine. You may have... People have different preferences. People can argue down a team or argue down a wine, but at the end of the day, it's all about your own personal preference.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a favorite wine bar in St. Louis?
Ooh. I really love Winnie's.
Okay.
Winnie's is off of Shoto. Is to die for. I want to say the bartender's name is Jason.
Okay.
He wears like this side hat, or I wouldn't say a fedora, but he's really good at recommending wines and different things like that. But also the French fries in the French fry sauce, unmatched.
Okay.
Unmatched.
I gotta add this to my list. I haven't been there yet.
Stella's, I believe, is pretty good too. I've been there once or twice.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to broaden my horizons for wine bars. I'm more into vineyards.
Okay.
So I will go an hour away to Defiance and all the things. I'm not afraid of a local regional wine. So I would highly recommend, no matter where you are in the country or in the world, check out your local opportunities first before you just try to take a visit to Napa.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good plug. Carbondale, shockingly, when I was there, they have a ton of wineries in Southern Illinois.
I mean, SIU is a school in our membership. I shall contribute to the local economy.
That's right.
At some point.
That's right. There you go. All right. For young women who are hoping to build careers in sports, what is one piece of advice you wish someone had given you early on in your career that would have helped you now?
It's cliche to say yes to every opportunity, but I would also say don't get so caught up in trying to make connections with people who are at the end of where you want to be. So like an AD and a commissioner. Also focus and put in time to your peers and people right above you, because those are the people, one, who are going to be in your journey longer than someone who's kind of phasing out. Mm-hmm. But also, like, you're going to see them at conventions, like women leaders or like your hang time hangout. And you're going to see those people. So really get to know and connect with them, because they're going to be the ones who are hiring next. They're going to be kind of just those people you connect with more because it's more relatable. So that would be my advice, to really connect and hone in on people who are kind of around the level you're at, because they're next up and you're next up.
Yeah, I like that. Peers are fun to connect with as well, for sure.
Yes. Shout out to Rihanna Rice.
That's somebody you connected with, same level?
Yes.
Okay.
She works at the Valley as well. So
okay. Nice.
Love her.
Very good. All right. If you could get some hang time with any woman in sports, who would it be and why?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. Let me think. I would say St. Marshall.
Okay.
St. Marshall, she was the first CEO of an NBA organization, the Dallas Mavericks to be exact. Big fan of the Mavs. But I just would love to just sit there and pick her brain on how she just did it all. Because yes, she wrote a book, but like you just don't always get the full picture unless you really just sit down and have a conversation with someone. So that's who I would pick. But of course, like Dawn Staley, Serena Williams, like all the big names.
Of course.
St. Marshall, I would love to just chit chat and yap with her.
I like it. That's a good hang for sure. All right, where can listeners get involved? Where can they support you and as well as the Valley?
Buy tickets to Arch Madness. Oh no, but seriously, if you want to know more about me and kind of just how I just operate on the day to day, you can follow me at Kendee, which is KenKendee, or you can follow the Valley at MVC Sports, or just check out our website at MVC-sports.com. So yeah, that's where you'll find us and find me.
Okay. Amazing. Well, Kendee, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us. Even if you didn't bring wine, I won't hold that against you. And the comments about the University of Illinois, I'm not going to hold against you.
No hatred there.
Right.
We love the Illini.
No, I appreciate it. This has been fun.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to keep supporting Hang Time and everything that you do. And can't wait to chit chat and yap with you some more in the future.
Absolutely. All right, listeners, we will see you back in a couple of weeks. Until then, you can follow along at HangTimeP0D or hangtimep0d.com. We'll see you next time.